I want to talk about my idea for a Smallville reboot, Smallville Metropolis. Smallville was a groundbreaking show. It was a pre-Superman story. It told the story of Clark Kent as a young man. It showed his slow progressing journey to becoming Superman, but it wasn't just about Clark Kent. This show was the trials of Clark Kent and Lex Luthor originally, at least for 7 seasons, and it was fantastic. Our Miles just didn't have an amazing concept. They executed it with such class, and every week I was hooked. The first season with its human stories, the crypto freaks, I loved it. I never got bored of the crypto freaks. I thought that was an awesome idea. It was kind of X-Files-y as well, which I really loved, because X-Files in Smallville's first season I think was still kind of out there. So, and of course X-Files is eternal. It will always be around in one form or the other. But yes, I was quite excited by that. But Smallville was amazing. Big Superman fan. So desperate for a Superman movie at the time. We didn't get it. But Smallville just compared me right from the very beginning. So why have I called my reboot Smallville Metropolis? Well, I used to go on messaging boards, and I used to see these arguments all the time. Oh, Smallville isn't a Superman show. Oh, yes, it is. I always saw Smallville as a Superman show. It was a pre-Superman story. Superman as a figure wasn't there, but Clark Kent is always Superman to me, because in the show he was still a hero, he still has superpowers, and he was still saving people. So he still had this, it was about that character. So yes, Smallville, no question about it, no debate, no doubt, was a Superman show. So I've called it Smallville Metropolis because it will be set in Smallville, but there will be flash forwards to the Superman era in Metropolis. So this show will focus mainly on Clark, mainly on Lex, but I will be clear, Lois Lane and Lana Lang will be going to school together with Clark, and Lois and Lana will not get on. Not only for battling for affection with Clark, they will just, because they're such opposites. Lois Lane has only just been moved to Smallville with the General. The General will be a regular character on this show. He will be a member of Veritas. Remember Veritas? The group that at first was trying to protect the Traveller, which was Traveller, that was Clark, but then in the end they were a threat. Basically what I will be looking to do, Veritas will be the oncoming threat. First they want to capture Kal-El to use him, then when they realise that's not plausible, they want to kill him. So they will be an oncoming threat season after season after season. The founder of this group will be Lex Luthor's grandfather, Lionel Luthor's father. Lionel Luthor will be involved as well as a regular. I would love to see John Glover play the grandfather. Lionel Luthor, I think it would be very difficult. In an ideal situation, Michael Rosenbaum will play Lionel and a younger actor will play Lex. But obviously, Lionel Luthor was in his 40s, maybe 50s, you know, so kind of Michael's too young for that. But I would love to involve as many Smallville alums as possible. So yes, you would have Lois, you would have Lana there. I think that would be very interesting, and there will be a very interesting dynamic between the General and Lois. That father and daughter relationship will be very twisted, like the Lex and Lionel relationship was in Smallville, and I will still keep that Lex and Lionel relationship twisted, slightly different, so we're not repeating ourselves, but certainly Lois and Lex would have that in common. I would also at some point love a little romance between Lex and Lois, because it kind of is hinted at now and again in the cartoons, in the Lois and Clark TV show, and I think that is an interesting dynamic. And because Lana is meant to be Clark's childhood sweetheart, at first there isn't that romantic with Clark and Lois. It's more friendship at first, but don't worry, we'll get there. I've got loads of ideas. Even adding in maybe a couple of DC characters as regulars on the show as well. There's so many things you can do with this, but basically Smallville Metropolis, set in Smallville, flash forwards to the Superman era in Metropolis, and it will be very, very similar to what you saw on Lost. So if a character's going through a hard time, like if a character was going through a hard time on the island in Lost, you saw them going through something in their flashbacks to understand what was going on. So very similar with my concept here with Smallville Metropolis. If Clark's focusing with his heat vision, maybe in the flash forward by accident he's hurt someone with his heat vision, and it kind of adds up, doesn't it? So yeah, just different aspects. I think we can really go deeper into Lex Luthor by having him in the Smallville era and then seeing him as that megalomaniac in the Metropolis era. It just makes things more explainable and more interesting. We would start on Krypton. There would be a civil war. I would kind of keep this artificial breeding and cloning that they did in Man of Steel. I think the civil war would be half of the people fighting because they believe in the cloning, and half the people fighting because they believe in the natural births and the way the Kryptonians used to go on different planets and explore and things like that. I think, yes, so definitely we start. So very different to Man of Steel. The civil war's there. They're fighting. There's laser fights. That's how we start. And Kal-El is sent to Earth because he is natural and because he is under threat because of being a natural birth. And that is the pure reason. Krypton wouldn't be destroyed. Krypton would vanish for one reason or the other, which I would explain within the story. So that is my concept for Smallville Metropolis. Chloe will be there in one form or the other. Okay, I'm going to tell you. Chloe is actually Brainiac. Let me explain how this is going to happen. The Brainiac we saw from Smallville will be same rules. Basically, Brainiac can look like anyone. We do see the arrival of the Skull Ship. I would want to see that in the pilot episode. In the same episode as we see Baby Kal-El crash, we see the Skull Ship arrive, but nobody sees the Skull Ship. It's hidden away, and Brainiac disguises himself as his character Chloe. Blonde, young, intelligent, but nobody knows. Nobody knows. Actually, I've come up with a better idea. Instead of Chloe can. Really good idea here, and I want you to bear with me as I kind of explain it to you. Brainiac would actually be the headmaster of Smallville High. Nobody knows this. Headmaster manipulating things from the background, and Chloe is actually an ordinary teenage girl that Brainiac, as this human character, adopts. And of course, Chloe doesn't know that her adopted parent is actually Brainiac, actually an alien. I think that's a brilliant concept. I've actually had that idea for a while, but now it's actually clicked into place. So really excited about this. Really excited about doing Smallville Metropolis, having Jonathan and Martha there as well, and doing something really a little bit different with them and a little bit special with them. I think this would work as a Smallville reboot. I really do. Tell me what you think down below. If you like the idea, spread the word. You never know what can happen. Kickstarter? You never know. We'll talk about this again. See ya.